It's June 5th, 2013. We're in a nondescript hotel room in Hong Kong, and the air is thick with tension. 3 journalists are huddled around a 29-year-old intelligence contractor who's about to expose the biggest surveillance operation in human history. His name is Edward Joseph Snowden, and he's holding the keys to America's most guarded secrets. For years, he's worked inside the walls of the CIA and the NSA, climbing from a security guard to systems administrator with full administrator privileges. But something's changed. The patriotic young man who once enlisted in the Army Reserve to, quote, help free people from oppression, has become deeply disillusioned with his own government. Just hours earlier, The Guardian had published a top-secret court order. It revealed that Verizon was handing over the phone records of millions of Americans to the NSA on an ongoing daily basis. This was a system of mass surveillance, collecting the private records of ordinary Americans in bulk. But that was just the beginning. Because the next day, The Guardian and Washington Post simultaneously published explosive details about PRISM, a program that gave the NSA direct access to the servers of America's biggest tech companies. Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, they were all involved, turning over emails, photos, videos, and private messages of users around the globe. Then came the big reveal. On June 9th, Snowden steps out of the shadows. In a video interview from his Hong Kong hotel room, he reveals his identity to the world.
My name's Ed Snowden. I'm 29 years old. I work for Booz Allen Hamilton as an infrastructure analyst for NSA in Hawaii.
The man behind the biggest intelligence leak in American history isn't a foreign spy or a terrorist. He's a high school dropout from North Carolina whose father served in the Coast Guard and whose mother worked for a federal court. He's someone the CIA once called a genius among geniuses. But how did he do it? Snowden had spent years moving between NSA facilities, from Geneva to Japan to Hawaii, accumulating access and understanding how the surveillance machine really worked. As a systems administrator, he had the keys to the kingdom, virtually unlimited access to the agency's most sensitive databases. The NSA's focus on defending against external threats left their internal security rudimentary. Starting in April 2012, Snowden began his careful plan. He downloaded documents systematically, exploiting his privileged access while appearing to perform routine maintenance duties. In March 2013, he even took a pay cut to join Booz Allen Hamilton in Hawaii, specifically to gather the final documents he needed to complete his exposé. And the scope of what he revealed was massive. He revealed that the NSA wasn't just collecting phone records. Through a program called X-Keyscore, they were capturing nearly everything a typical user does on the internet. Emails, chats, browsing history, social media activity. With over 700 servers at 150 sites worldwide, it was like having a God terminal into the global internet. And it was not just Americans being watched. The documents revealed that the NSA was spying on world leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel, whose personal phone had been tapped since 2002. When she found out, Merkel, who grew up under East German surveillance, called President Obama directly, declaring it a severe breach of trust. In Brazil, President Dilma Rousseff was so outraged by revelations of NSA spying that she postponed a state visit to Washington and began building internet infrastructure to bypass American networks entirely. But back in Hong Kong, Snowden's time was running out. On June 21st, the US government filed criminal charges against him under the century-old Espionage Act. The message was clear. What Snowden had done was treason. With the help of WikiLeaks, Snowden boarded a flight to Moscow on June 23rd, hoping to reach asylum in Latin America. But he was trapped. While Snowden was in the air, the US State Department revoked his passport, making him stateless. He landed in Moscow's airport, but couldn't board his connecting flight to Cuba. For 39 days, he was trapped in the airport's international transit zone, a man without a country. The world watched this geopolitical chess match unfold in real time. Finally, on August 1st, Russia granted him temporary asylum. The White House expressed extreme disappointment, but Snowden was beyond their reach. The revelations triggered a global reckoning. Courts ruled that the NSA's bulk collection program was illegal and likely unconstitutional. Congress passed the USA Freedom Act in 2015, the first law in decades to limit the NSA's surveillance powers. Tech companies spent billions implementing end-to-end encryption to protect their users from government spying. But the debate over Snowden himself remains as divided as ever. To supporters, he's a hero who exposed unconstitutional government overreach and sparked necessary reforms. To the US government, he's a traitor who stole 1.7 million classified documents and caused irreversible damage to national security. Today, more than a decade later, Edward Snowden remains in Russia, now a Russian citizen. He continues to speak out about digital privacy and surveillance as president of the Freedom of the Press Foundation. And while he didn't end mass surveillance, he did end the secrecy and uncertainty that surrounded it. The world he revealed, one where governments can monitor virtually every digital communication, is the world we still inhabit. Thank you for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing. If you want to watch another video on a similar topic that I made, you can check out my video about Operation Rubicon by clicking here. See you in the next video.